wanting to be accepted, you don't, something you wouldn't normally do or you're taught not to do, you would do anyhow. And then all of a sudden you're faced with something and you're like, oh, I guess I really should have thought this out. So I think a
Yes.
lot of that has to do with it as well, besides the desensitization aspect of it. Um, but there are a lot of juvenile programs that actually work hand in hand with different counties. If there are infractions, if things move forward where a child gets into that the system and they have to do that, to give them those aha moments otherwise that they wouldn't have had.
Yes. And that's another element as well. Some states and some counties and cities do an excellent job at diversion programs
Mhm.
to keep our youth out of the system. You do have some that don't. I know here in Texas we have a lot of instances where parents are dragged down to the actual jail, to the county, to have to give answer for truancy, for things that would normally be something that would handle at the principal's office. Now they're making it a criminal offense, misdemeanor, mind you, but it's still a criminal offense. That if something doesn't happen, the first thing the kid sees at 5, 6 years old is the SRO officer, the police officer assigned to the school. And so this officer that has a gun and has handcuffs and has a police car outside, this kid is now seeing that for the first time instead of seeing their counselor or seeing their teacher or coach or the principal to discipline. So we've already started taking the discipline out the hands of the parent. We took the discipline out of the hand of the administration, and now we put discipline right onto the doorstep of the law enforcement officer who introduces you to the court system, who introduces you to prison. And so those are the beginning fruits of the prison pipeline, and that really started in the late '90s, going into the early 2000s, to where we started making that condition of grooming our kids to be familiar with law enforcement on the tail end of this may send you to jail. Rather than law enforcement, when I was growing up, we saw them driving down the street. We were flagging them down so we can get a football card or a basketball card, or we could just talk to them and say, "Hey, run your lights so we can hear them." Those were the interactions of law enforcement in the late '70s and the early '80s. But now we have to where a kid wouldn't even think to stop an officer. I
Yeah.
spoke to an officer the other day and he actually jumped because I actually was speaking to him and saying hi. And it made me laugh. And after he got through jumping, I was like, oh man, you conditioned, aren't you? And he just bust out laughing because he thought about it. But it's a moment to where even they have been conditioned
Mhm.
to have the mentality of the prison pipeline because they have to look for certain people. They have to be aware of certain things. They're looking that our youth are not even innocent anymore, that they may at any moment harm them as officers. So everyone on every side is starting to be conditioned for this thing in this moment that's called prison pipeline. And so we as a society, and what we're hoping to start the discussion of tonight is acknowledging that, but also looking